And we are back with another episode of Upward and Onward. Today I'm joined by a special guest by the name of Michael Dalo, someone who I went to high school with, and is now the vice president on the board of directors at Authentic Abstraction, which they are aiming to extinguish PTSD in first responders and help the communities with mental health and support them through transformative arts. Mike, welcome, man.
Ollie, thank you so much for having me, and phenomenal to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, I am so happy that we're doing this. It's been, if I think about it, I think 9 years since we saw each other.
Since high school. I can confidently say I don't think I've seen you out and about since high school, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, which is messed up, man. We live maybe 20 minutes away from each other, right?
I know. I feel like we should have seen each other at Stop and Shop or something at some point.
Well, you know what? I'm happy that we're here together now and we're doing this, and it's so refreshing. So thanks for taking the time to sit with us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know you and are interested, can you give us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. My name is Michael Dalo. My day job, I work for National Grid. I do media relations in Massachusetts. And then my second day job, or rather on the side, is my role at Authentic Abstraction First Responder Foundation, which is a 501(c) nonprofit in the state of Rhode Island. And we're working to extinguish post-traumatic stress disorder in the first responder community.
Super cool. Super impactful work, too. And I'm so happy we're sitting down to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. Well, thanks for introducing yourself. And I'm curious, you had gone to Rhode Island College and studied business administration. Now, what was the motivation behind studying that?
I think, truthfully, the motivation there was that I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Is that right?
But I knew that I was interested in the business world in some way. I was always a little bit entrepreneurial, I guess.
Yeah.
But still don't know that I found a way to use that so much. But yeah, that's kind of why I went there. It was the major that made the most sense to me. And I ended up doing a double major with marketing.
Is that right?
At Rick. And then went on to do my MBA at Southern New Hampshire University.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
The GOAT school, man.
That is literally the GOAT
online school.
Awesome,
driving
man.
around those diplomas in the big truck.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for me.
Okay.
I just got it in the mail, unfortunately. But
Well, at least you got it, right?
I got it,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what's up. Nice. I didn't know that about you, but I'm curious. Well, while you were at Rhode Island College, were there any projects or experiences that you had that really stuck with you and you enjoyed?
Yeah, I think a lot of my time at Rick, to be perfectly honest, wasn't the most well spent.
Okay.
I think I went there and I kind of just did what I had to do, and I did well, and then I just did my work, went home, played Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox, man. Yeah, it's fair.
It'll get you every time.
It will.
But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, for classes that I really started to enjoy, they were marketing classes, and that's why I switched and did a double major.
Okay.
But the one class I would say that stood out, it was Professor Ramaki. He's kind of like a legendary professor there in the business department at Rick. And he has a class called Marketing Creativity, which is basically a class that he forced them to add to the curriculum.
Is that right? I love
and he's written books on creativity, and he's all about letting your creative juices flow and just exploring different avenues. And his favorite thing to talk about was metacognition, thinking about your thinking.
Interesting.
So it was just a kind of like an out-of-the-box class that made you kind of expand your thoughts and think about things that you normally wouldn't.
I see. So you mentioned how you're the vice president on the board of directors at Authentic Abstraction. And I had checked out the website and I got to learn a little bit about you guys. But for the people who don't know, can you tell us a little bit more about the story and how Authentic Abstraction came about?
Yeah, so Authentic Abstraction First Responder Foundation is the new official name as of 6 months ago when we became a nonprofit. Before that, the origin story is really that my brother Eddie and his friend Brendan and coworker were both Pawtucket, Rhode Island firefighters, and they were both going through some mental health challenges, both diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression, and essentially they were blacklisted in their fire department. They were made to feel other and treated differently. It was a lot of kind of that culture and the stigma that surrounds mental health is really ramped up among first responders. I'm sure or have seen first responders not everyone, obviously, but the culture around most firehouses or police departments is a lot of macho energy.
Yeah.
And don't really recognize mental health struggles. And, it's extremely sad to see, because a lot of those people who are brushing things off actually do have mental health issues,
Exactly.
PTSD. But anyways, that's kind of the origin. They were struggling at work, eventually forced into early retirements, the both of them, because they just couldn't handle it anymore with their PTSD. And from that, to cope with it, they initially just started playing music together. They both play the guitar, a little bit of the drums, and they used that to cope. And eventually it just turned into painting and writing poetry.
Yeah.
And, we have a whole documentary coming out about
right?
this, by the way. We've been filming for a long time.
Let's go. I can't wait for that, guys. You guys just got a sneak peek at what's coming up the pipeline.
Flame is Jazz.
Flame is Jazz.
Which is actually the first painting that they created together.
Okay.
And it's all abstract art.
Okay.
And it depicts what a house fire felt like to them.
I see.
And, they were doing this, and it was kind of a low point at both of their lives. I've never seen my brother at that low of a point in his life and struggling like that. Yeah. And so, he reached out to me and our family, and, I was there to support him. And basically, the artwork was their outlet. And we just came to recognize that this is too good to keep to ourselves.
Definitely.
And I pushed them into trying to share those paintings and share their story.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, because it's so important. And it's something that I recently have been more vocal about myself, just mental health in general. And like you mentioned, maybe even in a firehouse, but more so, I would say across the board, there is this element of having this macho-ness to your being that makes you maybe an actual man, or just makes you someone who is better than somebody else who maybe struggles with just staying mentally afloat. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, it's not to be taken lightly. It's to be taken very seriously, because no one on this earth is 100% all the time. So I'm so glad that your brother and his friend and coworker were able to express themselves openly, be vulnerable, and then for you to persuade them to and encourage them to share their stories with others, because there's more people out there who are just like them, who need to be heard and need to be engaged with. And this is an awesome mission, so thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, and thanks for saying all that.
Oh, my gosh.
But, I've kind of worked in the background on all this stuff, so website, writing, stuff like that. But
nice.
The both of them are really Authentic Abstraction. They're the heart of it. Mm-hmm. And, I just kind of feel like I nudge them in the right direction sometimes. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, talking about mental health and, being macho males as you and I are, Ollie.
Yeah, right? We are. Don't mess with us. No.
It is tough, even sometimes to, put yourself out there and do a podcast. Yeah. I feel like it's a difficult thing to do, because that there are people out there, and some friends that I have, and you likely have as well, that are like, oh, what is Ollie doing?
Sure.
This podcast is so dumb.
Hey guys, how you doing?
But that's what really helps and motivates people to do better.
Definitely. I 100% agree. So a thing that I'm thinking about is Authentic Abstraction. Your brother, Brendan, they start this, you join. Now, I saw that there were different events that are kind of hosted by Authentic Abstraction. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so we have a number of different initiatives that we're kicking off this year. And the big thing that we're really trying to push now is our first major fundraising effort, which is happening on October 21st at the Narrows in Fall River.
Okay.
And we're going to have live music, raffles, food.
Nice.
Dress up in whatever funny outfit you like, or whatever nice formal attire you want to wear. Maybe wear those gold-studded shoes that you have.
Those ones that, your aunt got you, which you're too scared to wear to the market, so you'll have to wear them here.
That's right. It's all about, bringing your full self, being able to express yourself, and having a good time and supporting a great cause. So yeah, we're really excited for that. And then, we have monthly events. They're called Create and Connect workshops.
Okay.
Where Eddie is actually doing like guided paintings.
Ooh.
And I've been to a couple of them.
Okay.
And it's funny, I am not a painter. I wouldn't count myself as an artist at all. And I'm definitely someone who struggles to, I can't do stuff in public.
Yes.
Like painting in public to me feels very odd.
I can agree.
That's
I
an
haven't
ego
done it.
thing.
Yeah, I haven't done it, but I can see how that can be very odd.
But they get it out of you somehow.
Yeah.
They do a great job, and we're offering it over Zoom now too. So
Oh.
if you're not feeling up to coming out to wherever we're having these events,
Yeah.
different avenue, and you can kind of try your hand alone.
Ah, I see. So is there a website that people who are listening and are interested can go to learn more about all these events that are happening?
Absolutely. It is aafrf.org.
Okay.
All of our stuff can be found there. Check out the events page, the initiatives page, and find it all.
Nice. I will drop a link right here for the people who are watching on YouTube and Spotify. So I hope you guys tune in because that's really awesome, and I hope to get there soon. I'll have to make an appearance. at one of
Ollie,
these
you
events.
better show up
I
to
bet.
that October 21st. Clear your
That's
schedule.
it. Okay. All right. October 21st. I'll see you there, Mike. And I'll see you guys there too.
Bring your
hopefully.
friends, bring your family,
Okay.
bring them all. We're going to have a great time.
Okay.
Going to raise some funds.
Yes.
And yeah, it's all going to go towards great stuff. I
I
mean,
love that.
one of the exciting things that we're going to do with this money that we get, or hope to get,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you attend the event,
Yes.
is we're starting an Extinguish PTSD fund, we're calling it. And I don't know if you've heard of, it's a form of therapy to help with trauma.
Okay.
It's called EMDR.
I've heard of that acronym.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it at
Yeah.
all. I think it's like a rapid eye movement type
Yeah.
of therapy. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But my brother has used it, and it's helped him a lot
Really?
to recover from his PTSD,
Interesting.
or at least deal with it.
Very interesting.
So we're going to use that money to train therapists to get certified in that. We want to
Wow.
send at least 3 therapists to get that certification.
That's amazing. Super cool. And is that happening locally, like those therapists who would be trained are in Rhode Island?
Yeah, so right now we're operating in Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Okay.
That's kind of our service area right now.
Okay.
And, our services are open to anyone in the country or anyone who just wants to talk or reach out. We're always there via email or the website, social media. But right now the focus is Rhode Island and Mass.
I see. Really cool. Now, I know that you mentioned all the different events you guys are doing, the ways that you're helping people. Are there, and the documentary that's coming up, right? Outside of that, are there things that maybe are exciting for you to look forward to in the future? And maybe once Authentic Abstraction is at a point of expansion, some things that could be down the line?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we're still really young,
Yeah.
and we've had a lot of support so far that we're extremely thankful for. But I think we want to get more into firehouses, police departments, and into municipalities, so like town offices and whatnot. We want this to hit the politicians and people who can really enact change,
Yeah.
more so than being just the support system for people who have already been failed by the system.
Fair.
We want to be proactive, not reactive.
Totally fair. A question that comes to mind for me is, say if someone's out there listening to this episode and they maybe are a first responder themselves, or they know a first responder who struggles with their mental health or just PTSD, something of that nature, and they want to give them words of encouragement so that they can be more open about their struggles. Would you have any advice for that person?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have the perfect advice. I mean, there are a ton of resources that folks can find to help if they're feeling, struggling with their mental health. Obviously, seeing a therapist is a really big one that's helped the people that I'm close to. I've seen a therapist myself, and it is helpful.
Yep.
But I think for my brother and myself, our experience was that he just needed someone who would listen, and that's all I did. So, words of encouragement are great. I've seen my family just be like, "Oh, just be happy, don't," and it's tough to see stuff like that.
It's tough.
don't think about it is another great one that people always tell folks with PTSD, which is obviously an impossible task.
Yeah, just don't think about it. Interesting.
But yeah, I would say just be open to listening. Not everything needs a solution right away, and I'm guilty of doing that in my life a lot. If there's a problem, I want to, fix it right away. But some things just take time and an ear.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm curious, now outside of work, what are some of the things you like to do in your free time?
You know what I've gotten real into lately? This is going to throw you for a loop.
Wait, can I guess first?
You can guess, but I gave you a hint earlier.
Oh, you did?
Well, about the game that I'm playing right now.
Well, that game is great.
Yeah.
But I was going to guess kayaking. I don't know why.
No, you're way off.
All right, way off. Never mind.
I am so far into Magic the Gathering right now.
The card game?
The card game. It is incredible.
How do you get far into it? Do you just amass more cards, or do you that's how he's like, oh man, don't look at my bank account.
I have amassed an absurd amount of cards.
Actually, in a short amount of time too, or?
I would say mid-COVID time, so maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
I've amassed enough cards where I have one of those like giant cardboard boxes full, and I can never find anything.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, funny. I have a buddy who got me into it.
During
COVID, and hell of a game.
Oh, is that right?
It's the best, man.
See, for me, when I get really into something, I'm all in. So I'm like, my curiosity has been piqued, and now I'll have to check it out. Which, if you guys see me carrying around like a suitcase full of cards soon, just go.
You make a joke about that. I literally have a suitcase that's probably this wide and this tall, and it's full of decks that I've built.
See, so I'm gonna try to stay away for as long as possible then.
But it's the best if you like chess.
Yeah, I love
or
chess.
You like strategy games at all.
Yeah.
It's like a more fun hybrid of that, where you just you get a few of your friends. You can even play one-on-one.
Yeah.
Have a few drinks, play some Magic,
and it's a good time.
What a night!
I love that. Okay, well I'll have to look into it some more. Speaking of chess, is chess a game that you play?
Lightly. I mean, I go through phases with chess, so it's like for 2 weeks every year I'll like play chess nonstop.
Same.
And then I'll never touch it again.
Yeah, it is a game that can be pretty demoralizing if you're just
if you're losing.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
It's awful.
All. You might get lucky and like win a couple here and there, but if you really play enough and you get to higher competition, it's just not that fun anymore. Yeah. But I'll be back. Now, I have seen that you do quite a bit of traveling too. Can you tell us some of your favorite spots?
I'm leaving for a cruise on Saturday.
Are you?
I'm excited about that. Nice. Yeah, just short trip to Bermuda.
Ooh, that's one of my favorite places ever.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to not get hit by a hurricane.
Ooh, that's right. There's one going on. So, good luck.
Perfect timing.
Good luck.
Yeah, I went in like 2016.
Okay.
So this will be my triumphant return.
Yes.
But yeah, Bermuda is a great spot. But number one spot, Iceland.
Is that right?
Iceland's my number one. I was telling you before.
Yeah. And why is that?
The most unique place that you'll ever visit. It, it's an island.
Okay.
And it's magnificent. It's, glaciers to your left, volcanoes to your right.
Interesting.
It looks like the moon, and some places like just bare black sand beaches, rocks,
so cool.
Beautiful green lush landscapes. I mean, it literally has it all. And it's so small that you can do the entire island in, a 24-hour drive.
Interesting.
If you wanted to.
Interesting. Now, you've been there not once, but twice, right?
I think 3 times was my last time, yeah.
Oh
I keep going back.
So you got to be probably booked and on the next one sometime soon, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think my last trip there was the last one for a little bit. I need to try some new places.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, it's my favorite spot.
Yeah.
That, and I would say London. I love London so much.
Well, for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's home to your favorite soccer team.
That's right. I'm a big fan of the Arsenal. Even if I feel like if people don't know me and you just follow me on social media, that's the only thing I post about, and it's just like sickness. I got my only tattoo.
Is that right?
An Arsenal can, yeah. I keep it hidden under here. No. We don't want to see that.
No one's seen that. You got to pay for that. No.
You'll see that on the cruise if you're on there.
There you go.
Busting that bad boy out. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Now, I've also seen that you've been engaged with podcasting. Can you tell us about your podcast?
Yeah. I've been doing a podcast for feels crazy, 5 years now.
Nice.
No one listens.
But still, it's good that you're doing it. You're getting out there. You might be surprised. There could be some people.
No, there are. We have a small, mighty following that that interact with us quite a bit on Twitter and stuff, and that it's fun just to even do that.
Yeah.
It's called the Mostly Soccer Podcast, where we talk about mostly soccer, Premier League only mostly, and a little bit of Champions League, some other stuff, but. Big Arsenal fan, and my buddy Jimmy, who I do the podcast with, is a Manchester City fan.
Nice.
So we get together bi-weekly and pump out a podcast. But the best part is just sitting with him and just kind of hanging out and chatting.
Definitely. I know what that's like, and I'll definitely be tuning in. For people who are interested, where can they find the podcast?
Yeah, it's on any platform where you can get a podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever else you might use.
Cool.
And on Twitter, or X now, @SoccerMostly.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it here. Another thing that I'm curious about, and you had mentioned when we were talking earlier, your favorite place to eat in Rhode Island.
This is something that I'm very passionate about. I got to sit up, straighten my back. Gracie's is the best restaurant in Rhode Island, undisputed champion.
Whoa. That's really high praise, and I think you might offend a couple people who are listening to this because everyone really, I want to go to Federal Hill, I want to go to Venda. No?
Out. Federal Hill is out.
Wow. Gracie's is
I like Federal Hill.
Same.
But, I mean, Gracie's is next level quality.
Okay. Well, then, I owe them a trip. And Gracie's, if you guys are listening to this, Mike just gave you guys a free endorsement. If you feel like being generous and giving us a free night out, we will be so grateful.
I have given them more of my money.
Yeah. Than they can even give me back.
A free night out wouldn't cut it at this point.
That's funny. That's great.
But that's the spot, man.
Good to know.
I think it's technically French food, but it's unbelievable.
Okay. I'll be giving it a try too. On the list. So thanks for sharing about the things that you're interested in doing outside of just work. Now, I'm curious, in your past, looking back, has there been someone who's been significant in regards to having an impact on your life or motivating you in a certain way?
Yeah, I think two people in particular, I would say. One is my brother, Eddie, who is a part of Authentic Abstraction, the backbone of it. His willingness to always put himself out there, be creative, and now, over the past few years, has just fully gone into freedom of expression and deep self meditation, which has been a trip for me. Because I've no exposure to any of that stuff or never have, but extremely inspired by him and thankful to have him in my life, and what an amazing influence to have. And then the second person I would say is my uncle Andy, who is a Sicilian immigrant.
Is that right?
Who came to this country and got his degree in electrochemistry or something crazy like that. He designed some machine that would cut jewelry.
Is that right?
And early retirement, and has just been living it up, and extremely most generous person I know, and always there for advice, and hilarious too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Really good people to look up to, and I'm happy that you have those people in your life. My last question for you is, being the vice president on the board of directors, say if there's someone out there who's thinking about doing the same as you, what advice would you give to that person?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you mean specifically like starting a nonprofit or a business, I would say just do it.
Yeah.
I think that's, the general advice of anyone looking to do something, even a podcast or putting a painting for sale, just do it. And, if you build it, they will come. But I mean, ways to get involved with something like a nonprofit, I mean, just reach out. We're always looking for help. Nonprofits in general are generally looking for help. And
Nice. Well, thank you. And you guys heard it here first. If there's something on your mind, you're thinking about getting it started, whether if it's a podcast, selling your art, or just doing something that you think is a good idea for yourself, just do it. Mike, thank you. Yeah, and a little Mikey switch. Thank you so much, Mike, for taking the time to sit with us. This was a blast. So good to see you. And I hope you'll join us in like a couple months or something.
Whenever you'll have me.
Okay, we'll do that. Well, thank you, and we'll see you guys in the next one.